Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Untirta debate competition. So this time we have two very special teams. But first, let me introduce the two teams. So the first one is the government team, which is there is Muhammad Koriyu Dabrima as a speaker one, and then Dia Zahra Fadia as a speaker two, and Rifan Abdullah as a speaker 3. And in the opposition team there is Nazwa Putri Liandani as a speaker 1, and then Dwi Octavian Andawinanto as a speaker 2, and the last one is Jonathan Christian as a speaker 3. Before we begin, let me explain a little bit about the format of the Asian Parliamentary debate. So in this debate, there are two teams consisting of the government team and the opposition team. Each team consists of 3 speakers, and each speaker will have 5 minutes to present their argument. So some additional rules during the debate. The first one is each speaker is given a maximum of 5 minutes. I will mark the second minute as a warning and the fourth minute as a break. And the second is interruption or point of information or POI are allowed after the second minute to the fourth minute of each speaker. POIs should not exceed of 20 seconds. And the last one is the speaker who is speaking has the right to accept or rejecting the POI. So for today's motion is this house believes school uniforms should be banned. Okay, so alright, without any further ado, let us begin this debate. So the first one, we invite the first speaker from the government team to present his argument, and you have 5 minutes starting from now.
Okay, I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Esteemed judge and honorable opponent, we the government team stand before you here to argue for the abolition of school uniform. We believe that requiring uniform can hinder and burden students in several aspects. The first aspect, school uniform do not effectively reduce socioeconomic disparities. Social uniform do not address socioeconomic disparities among students. Arguments that school uniform reduce socioeconomic disparities are often unfounded, while uniform may disguise differences. They do not eliminate the underlying problem of inequality. Research from the Center for Education Research at Stanford University shows that while uniform can equalize outward appearance, students from different economic backgrounds still experience discrimination and exclusion based on other factors such as access to technology and extracurricular activities. Understanding that uniforms are not the solution to the problem of inequality, we should focus on more in-depth and effective measures, such as financial aid and inclusion programs. Therefore, school uniforms should be banned as they do not address the root of problem. And the next point, freedom of dress promotes responsibility and preparation for adult life. Freedom of dress prepares students for adult life and promotes personal responsibility. In the real world, individuals are faced with daily dressing choices that affect their perception and interaction. Familiarizing students with freedom of dress teaches them responsibility for their appearance and personal decisions. According to a report from the National Education Association, or NEA, students who have freedom of dress show improvement in decision-making, skill, and personal responsibility, which are important qualities for further success. By allowing students to choose their own clothes, we help them develop skills that are essential for adult life, such as decision-making uniform should therefore be better to encourage the development of their skill. Thus, ban on school uniform supports students' self-expression, greater social justice, and better preparation for adult life. Okay, that's for me. Thanks.
Okay, thank you for the speaker from the government team. Next, we invite the first speaker from the opposition team. Your time is 5 minutes, starting from your speak.
Let me start my speech in 3, 2, 1. So, responding to the government's argument, banning school uniform could actually make a new problem, that is the increasing use of socio-economic studies among students. With banning uniform from school, students may want to represent more themselves in fashion, with expensive clothes. So this can create more stress for them from poor background family, as they may feel left behind or unable to compete in terms of appearance like fashion or etc. So this will be a new problem for them. Then they said freedom. The government said freedom of clothing prepares a student for adult life and creates personal responsibility. Now let's see. According to Education and Culture Regulation, Chapter 2, Article 2 of Minister Number 45 of 2014, uniforms have an important purpose in education. Include instilling a sense of nationalism, increasing a sense of equality, so that there are no social gaps between students, increasing discipline, responsibility, and compliance with the rules, and creating a school identity. So with freedom in clothing, it is likely that the feeling of responsibility for the image of the school or institution will be eliminated. That means the students may no longer feel bound to maintain the good names from the school they present, as a freedom of dress can reduce awareness of the school's identity and the rules it must uphold. Then it will eliminate the sense of students as students to study. We know the function of the school uniform itself, so remind students they are the students. I mean, the student's job is to study. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the first speaker from the opposition team. And the next one is the second speaker from the government team. You have 5 minutes to present your argument starting from your speech.
I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Thank you, opposition speaker, for the views expressed. I will respond to the points you raised with some counter arguments. Respond to nationalism and identity points. You mentioned that school uniforms play an important role in instilling a sense of nationalism and identity as student. However, nationalism and identity should not depend on the clothes worn. Education and the formation of strong character are the main key in instilling nationalist values. In many cases, a sense of nationalism is more effectively built through an inclusive curriculum and extracurricular activities that extend love for the country. Respond to social inequality. You argue that uniforms reduce social inequality by eliminating discrimination based on style of dress. However, it is important to remember that social inequality is not only created by differences in clothing. Social inequality is also influenced by factors such as access to quality education, school facility, and financial support for learning activity. Eliminating uniform will not necessarily create greater social inequality if the education system as a whole is more inclusive and fair. The real solution is to ensure all students have equal access to educational resources, not simple regulate their clothing. Respond to discipline and responsibility. You state that uniform promotes discipline, responsibility, and compliance with rules. However, true discipline comes from understanding and internalizing this value, not from external imposition, such as uniform discipline and responsibility. Education can be done through teaching that emphasize the importance of these values in everyday life, both inside and outside school. Letting students choose their own clothing can also teach them to be responsible for their choice understand the importance of dressing appropriately for the situation. Respond to student identity. Argue that uniform help students remember that they are students and their job is to learn. However, identity as a learner is more relative, more inspiring and empowering learning environment will be more effective in reminding students of their role as learners than school wearing a uniform. Now, I will give my argument. We believe school uniform hinder student self-expression. We believe that school uniform hinder student self-expression. The same and rigid uniform force them to conform to one form of identity, thus potentially inhibiting individual creativity and expression. Dr. Jeff Gill's research in 2020 showed that students who are given the freedom to dress tend to be more creative and have higher level of self-certification. They are also more likely to be involved in school activities because they feel more comfortable being themselves. By allowing students to dress as they wish, we support the development of identity or self-expression, which is important for their mental health and creativity. Therefore, school uniforms should be banned. And second is school. We believe school uniform provide flexibility in emergency situations. First is quick response in emergency. In emergency situations like fire or earthquake, every second counts. Without the obligation to wear a uniform, student can immediately evacuate without having to look for a uniform first, thereby increasing their chance of safety. Second, availability of appropriate clothing. After a disaster, students may lose access to uniform with freedom of clothing. They can wear clothes that are more easily available, thereby ensuring the continuity of education without obstacle. And the last, weather condition adjustment. Natural disaster often cause extreme weather change. Students need clothing appropriate to this condition, which may not be available in the form of a standard uniform. Freedom of clothing allows them to choose appropriate clothing, maintaining their health and comfort. That's all. Thank you. Proud to be a government student.
Okay, thank you for the second speaker from the government team. Next, we invite the second speaker from the opposition team. You have 5 minutes starting from your speech.
Okay, I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Okay, here I will post the argument from the second speaker from the government team who said the school uniforms can hinder student self-expression. Why I oppose that opinion is because it doesn't necessarily eliminate student self-expression because students can still express themselves through hairstyle, accessories, and other ways outside of how they dress. Apart from that, students can still express their creativity in other fields such as art, music, and other extracurricular activities. And then secondly, interruption. No, thank you. The government team gave an argument about flexibility and emergency situation. In my opinion, this argument ignores other important aspects that support the implementation of school uniforms. So, school uniforms actually help identify students easily, especially in mass evacuation situations. Using school uniforms make it easier for authorities and parents to track and ensure student safety. Schools can balance the need for flexibility in emergency situation with the important benefits of implementing school uniforms. Now, I will give my argument by taking the example of countries with a higher level of education than Indonesia, such as Thailand. In Thailand, students are required to wear school uniforms, right? Why do they require school uniforms? Because they think that school uniforms are part of the code of conduct that helps students obey the rules and concentrate on their studies. Then the second is that school uniforms can eliminate competition in clothing. School uniforms also minimize distraction and allow students to focus on learning. And finally, school uniforms help students develop a sense of pride and identity in their school. So, if the government team makes the argument that school uniforms hinder students' creativity and self-expression, that cannot be justified, because the proof is that many students in Taiwan have success in expressing themselves through extracurricular activity, art, and other means outside of their school clothes.
important for students' education success at school. Therefore, this motion is urgent. Thank you.
Thank you for the second speaker from the opposition team. And next, we invite the third speaker from the government team. You have 5 minutes to present your argument, starting from your speaking.
Okay, I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Okay, here I will oppose the argument from the second speaker from the opposition team. The opposition team agreed that school uniform help create a discipline, equitable and distraction-free learning environment. However, if you choose Thailand as an example of a developing country that requires students to wear uniforms, what about more developing Europe countries such as America, UK, Germany, and many other countries that do not require students to wear uniforms? This argument ignores that school uniforms can be a barrier for students with special need or different way to addressing. In addition, school uniforms can also limit student creativity and self-expression, which is very important for their development. A good learning environment should encourage individuality and freedom of expression. The school uniforms are ineffective in creating a discipline. We believe that school uniforms are unnecessary and can actually hinder student development. Therefore, the motion school uniform must be banned must be approved. Now, I will give my argument. I believe that school uniforms do not promote self-awareness and social skill. School uniforms do not promote self-awareness and social skill. School uniforms can make students feel uncomfortable with their appearance and hinder the development of self-awareness. Social skills such as communication, cooperation, and empathy can also hampered by school uniforms. Therefore, school uniforms should be banned to promote better self-awareness and social skill. And the next is school uniforms do not promote cultural awareness and dressing skill. School uniforms do not promote cultural awareness and dressing skill. School uniforms can prevent students from understanding different cultures and traditions. Dress skills such as choosing clothes appropriate to the occasion and understanding other cultures can also be hampered by school uniforms. Therefore, school uniforms should be banned to promote cultural awareness and better dressing skill. Thank you.
Thank you to the third speaker from the government team. Next, we invite the third speaker from the opposition team. You have 5 minutes, starting from your speaking.
Okay, I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. The government team just said that school uniforms do not promote self-awareness, social skills, and also cultural awareness. But actually it's not, because school uniforms enhance self-awareness by focusing students on their abilities and character rather than outward appearances. In Indonesia, where socioeconomic disparities can be significant, uniforms help students focus on their personal development rather than feeling inferior or superior based on clothing. And uniform can improve social skills by reducing their social barriers. When everyone dresses the same, it minimizes the potential for bullying or social exclusion based on fashion differences, fostering a more inclusive and cooperative school environment. A study by Lembaga Ilmu Pengetahuan Indonesia found that students in uniform are more likely to develop self-confidence and a sense of belonging, which is crucial for their personal growth. Also, talking about cultural awareness, it actually can be effectively promoted through the curriculum and school activities rather than through daily clothing. Indonesian schools often hold cultural days or events where students wear traditional clothing, which fosters a deeper understanding and respect for different cultures. Many schools in Indonesia, such as those in Yogyakarta or Bali, successfully organize cultural events, and traditional dress days that significantly enhance students' appreciation of their diverse heritage. That's why, from our perspective, school uniforms enhance safety and security within Indonesian schools by ensuring all students are easily identified. Uniforms help school staff quickly recognize outsiders and potential threats, which is particularly important in heavily crowded like city centers. A report by Mendikbud highlights that schools with uniform policies have better control with over students' population, leading to fewer incidents of unauthorized entry and increased overall safety. Because uniform create a visual standard that simplifies monitoring and maintaining school security. This in turn foster a safer learning environment. So that's why the opposition team believe that school uniform should not be banned. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to all the speaker for your arguments. Now we will give time to each team to give their reply speaker. So the reply speaker starts from the opposition team. First, for the opposition team, please reply the overall debate and why your team should win.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the opposition team has presented strong arguments very well. So our team does not agree with this motion because first we believe that banning school uniforms will create new problems such as that inequality. Apart from that, the loss of school uniforms will eliminate the essence of students as students. Apart from that, school uniforms are also enforced in our large neighboring countries such as Thailand, where students successfully express themselves through extracurricular activities, art, and other means outside the school clothes. Overall, the benefits of this school uniform are great. School uniform have created disciplines, varied and instruction-free learning environment. Then school uniform increase secure in the school environment in Indonesia. By ensuring all students are easily identifiable, uniforms help school staff quickly identify stranger and potential threats, which is especially important in densely populated urban areas. A report from the Indonesia Minister of Education and Culture shows that school uniform policies have a better control over student populations, reduce incidents of misconduct, and improve overall security. Uniform create a visual standard that simplifies monitoring and keeps schools safe. This in turn creates a safer learning environment important for student well-being and academic success. Therefore, we believe that the ban on school uniform should be prohibited. So we proud our in position. Thank you.
Thank you to the opposition team for submitting their reply speaker. So the next is for the government team. Please reply the entire debate and why your team should win.
I will. Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today to reaffirm that our team has convincingly demonstrated why school uniforms should be banned, and as we present the key points made by our speaker that clearly illustrate the ineffectiveness and detrimental impact of school uniform. First, school uniform do not reduce socio-economic disparities. Speaker 1 eloquently explained that school uniform not only my socio-economic difference without addressing the root causes in equality. Research from Stanford University support this by showing that uniform do not eliminate discrimination based on access to technology, extracurricular opportunities, or even social interaction. Our opposition may argue that uniform create a level playing field, but they fail to acknowledge that real disparities lie far deeper, and superficial measures like uniforms cannot bridge this gap. True equality demands substantial intervention such as financial aid and inclusive programs. Second is freedom of dress, promise responsibility and preparation for an adult life. Speaker 1 further argued that allowing students the freedom to choose their attire foster responsibility and better prepares them for the complexities of adult life. The National Education Association finding corroborates this, showing that students with the freedom to dress develop crucial decision-making skill and personal responsibility. In contrast, uniform deprives students of this formative experience, hindering their growth and readiness for future challenges. And second, and the last, school uniform hinder self-experience. Speaker second highlight how uniforms still individuality of creativity. Dr. Jeff Dale's 2020 research confirmed that students who dress fairly experience higher self-certification and are more engaged in school activities. Uniform by enforcing conformity suppress the literal diversity of student expression and undermine proposal by allowing free dress. We support student identity development crucial for their well-being and creativity. In conclusion, our team has demonstrated that school uniform failures address socio-economic disparities, limits personal responsibility, stifle self-expression, reduce emergency flexibility, and hinder self-awareness, social skills, and cultural understanding. Our arguments are firmly grounded in research and practical consideration, proving that a ban on social uniform is not only beneficial but necessary for a more inclusive and dynamic education environment. We are confident that this collectively establish our position as the winning side of this debate. Thank you.
Time's up. Thank you to all the speakers for your arguments. Now give some time to the adjudicator to give a judge and determine who is the winner. Okay, so after evaluating the debate, it is clear that the government team presented a more comprehensive and research-backed case for banning school uniforms. They effectively address a wide range of impacts from socio-economic disparities to the suppression of individuality and supported their argument with credible sources such as Stanford University, the National Education Association, and Dr. Jeff Dale, while the opposition team highlighted important points about security and discipline, citing examples like Indonesia and reports from the Indonesian Ministry of Education and Culture. The opposition arguments like the breadth and robust research presented by the government team. Therefore, the government team convincingly demonstrated that the detrimental impacts of school uniforms outweigh their benefit, establishing themselves as the winner of this debate. So the winner is the government team. So that's all from our debate in this day. Thank you for your attention and see you next time. Bye bye.
Goodbye.